Ladies and gentlemen, we depart our voyage from the southernmost city of South America, Ushuaia. We will start our journey with the Weddell Sea. Fantastic place, very rarely visited. After 2 days in the Weddell Sea, we will pass by the Antarctic Sound to visit the western side of the Antarctic Peninsula, the Danko coast. During our journey together, we are going to experience very wide varieties of landscape, endless mountains. We are going to see glaciers, steep mountains coming straight into the sea. We are going to see a few animals, of course, different species of seals, whales, and different species of penguins.
On behalf of National Geographic, I would like to welcome you to Antarctica on board the National Geographic Explorer.
Watch this. Nailed it.
Last night we saw our first icebergs. We also had incredible winds. Today the winds are just a gentle 20 to 30 knots. Last night they were 60 to 70 knots. Here we are, finally on land. We're on James Ross Island. This is our first landing. We're going to do a few hikes here, some longer, some shorter, just to explore the terrain and get some views over the amazing Antarctic. James Ross Island is named after James Clark Ross, the British officer who led a 4-year expedition from 1839 to 1843 and was down here looking for the magnetic South Pole. And on one of the summers that he spent down here, he explored this part of the Weddell Sea, and that's why the island is named after him. This is probably one of the most un-Antarctic landscapes I've ever seen. This reminds me tremendously of the Canadian High Arctic, Devon Island, these sedimentary layers that you see in the background. It's very unusual to be on an island in Antarctica that has virtually no ice. We have the peninsula behind, and that's covered in ice. This island, however, has virtually nothing. Barren, rocky landscape, sedimentary layers. This place is loaded with fossils. Many of the major fossil finds from Antarctica have come from this region. James Ross Island is on the east side of the Trinity Peninsula, which is the tip of the Antarctic Peninsula. We're on generally the lee side. You wouldn't imagine that this morning, but we are on the lee side, the downwind side, and so the winds tend to drop most of the snow on the other side of the peninsula, and that's one reason why this side is drier.
So beautiful.
We're here at Coburn Island. This is our first Zodiac cruise of the trip.
We're really excited to be here. There's a shag colony as well as an Adelie penguin colony, and we are surrounded by beautiful ice. We have some unique weather here today. There's blue skies and we don't have a lot of wind here. It is a beautiful day and an excellent afternoon. Clearly this one's cool that's being right here.
So we finished the perfect Zodiac cruise on this stunningly beautiful day, and then we came out here and we're cruising through this place where we have a lot of sea ice. And after dinner, everybody came back out on deck, and the light is stunningly beautiful. And not only that, but the scenery is just otherworldly because we have all of these pieces of ice lit in this beautiful golden light. And I keep hearing over and over, people keep saying, this is the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. Now this sounds like a really good thing, but actually this is terrible because we're not even halfway through the trip yet. And so we have set the bar way too high, way too early in the trip. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to top this.
Oh my gosh, that's what took so long. Look at Alyssa.
Body, you see the shape of the head, very short, four limbs, flippers, big animal.
Well, our Antarctic adventure this morning has brought us to a refuge hut. There are a few of these around Antarctica. This one dates from 1902, 1903 with Nordenskjöld, the Swedish explorer. Their story was quite incredible. It's so complicated that I don't think we could fit it onto a video, but parties getting lost, running into each other, trying to find each other.
The 14th of March 2021, we are the first of the season to come here.
What?
The point behind coming here is, for a start, it's stunningly beautiful, especially this morning. Sun shining, seals on ice, the ship sparkling in the water. It's just great. But the guys who had been here from these expeditions probably wouldn't have been appreciating it. It's now in the care of the Argentine Antarctic Museums. They look after this property. And there's not many visitors, not just because of its location, but it's a difficult place to get to. It's amazing anybody built these places and actually survived, especially when they had to overwinter when they didn't plan on it. But this is a happy story. Quite a lot of the adventures in the Antarctic and the Arctic end in tragedy. This one didn't.
So we are cruising through the Weddell Sea and we have just come across a huge rarity, which is killer whales. It's amazing and it's Christmas Eve. What we're seeing here are type little b. So they're ecotype, one of the many types of killer whales that live in this region. These ones specifically hunt penguins. It is a beautiful sunshine day, but also very windy. And so out here on the bow, we're watching as the ship is sort of sitting still, but they're coming around us, switching sides. And so we're just running around and absolutely amazed. So as top predators, they are top of the food chain and they are not necessarily hunted, but hunters, eating pretty much anything that lives down here. It's always a rarity, it's always a surprise. This is the first time seeing them this season and it has made the day for me. One of the really interesting things about Antarctica is that there is one land animal and it is a no-see-um. So it's a tiny insect and everything else is based on the ocean, whether it is living, feeding, or traveling within the sea. We've seen quite a lot. So the first dive that we did was a very barren landscape, but it had a lot of this really weird but cool animal, which is called an Antarctic giant isopod. It basically looks like a giant bug, and it's both a cannibalistic animal as well as a detritus eater. So it kind of covers the whole basis of anything you could eat here. A couple of the other really awesome things that we saw on the dive today were a nudibranch, which is a sea slug, nemertean worms, which are these really funky different worms that live here on the wall, as well as salts, which are an interesting animal that's planktonic, that actually thrives in low sea ice years. So it's a good indicator on what the Antarctic season is looking like, and we've seen a lot of them this trip. There are better maps of Mars and our moon than there are of our own ocean. And that's in part because part of it is very deep or very extreme or very inaccessible. So our goal is to bring what is below above and to educate on the fact that our oceans are so interdependent on us and we're very dependent on them as well. Conservation and protection of marine places and natural places in our world is extremely important. And the more that we can educate and the more that we can consciously make efforts in order to think about what we're consuming, what we're producing, and where it's going, the better we can take care of our planet.
Merry Christmas. This is the most beautiful place where we can guarantee a white Christmas. We've come over to the western side of the peninsula. This is Sierva Cove. It looks totally different here than where we were yesterday. So we've come from the Weddell seaside on the east over here to the west. where every mountain is dripping with snow and glaciers, and it is, I think, the most perfect place to be for Christmas morning. Clearly there is a lot of ice here, not only behind us in the mountains with the glaciers, but a lot of that glacial ice is also down in the water. So for most of this morning, we'll have brash ice, little pieces of that glacial ice all around the boats. The look and feel of this brash ice is it's not like anything else. So it's wonderful to be surrounded by that, especially today. And we'll have bigger pieces of ice as well. So Bergy bits, growlers, but right up to big icebergs in Sierra Cove as well. So we'll explore those, tour around them as much as we can with the little boats, and just try to give everyone a very icy, Antarctic, and beautiful, peaceful experience this morning, because we've got a lovely break from the wind. Being down here in this little boat is, well, I think it's a favorite place for the whole team. It's a way to see things like so up close, and it feels so different than being on the big ship. I love how peaceful it feels out here this morning. Many of us on board celebrate Christmas and probably have traditions for Christmas morning. So this is an traditional Christmas morning for most of us, but hopefully one that everybody will remember forever.
Well, we're on the Antarctic Peninsula in Bransfield Strait, and right in the middle of Bransfield Strait is Hydrurga Rocks. Almost no place to land except this collection of rocks out in the middle of the strait. We've got chinstrap penguins. The chinstraps are one of the brush-tail penguins. We have chinstraps, gentoos, and adelies in this region. And the nice thing about Hydrurga Rocks, it's one of the few places that we can actually get on land near the chinstrap penguin.
I am so privileged to be here with at least a dozen global explorers who have arrived on the first few zodiacs. And today, our goal is to just use our observational skills to understand what's going on here. There is so much noise and so much activity all around us. It's really overwhelming. We can watch. So one of the things our global explorers and myself are doing are sitting close to a group of penguins nesting and just watching, just taking 5 minutes to watch maybe one, maybe two penguins and just observe as many different behaviors as we can. And at the end of that 5 minutes, to try to piece it all together, to try to understand maybe they were communicating, if a parent was returning from feeding, all sorts of things going on. And it's just an amazing day to use our powers of observation to explore our surroundings.
Just on this island, we saw a bunch of seals. Over there, we saw some chinstrap penguins. They're really kind of just hanging out and sleeping, but it was really cool because one of them kept stealing another one's rocks. It was really fun.
I've just been observing all the wildlife today, and it's nice being out on the snow, because that's what I came to Antarctica for, you know. I was up at 12 o'clock last night, and we were if it's snowing at 12 o'clock, it's considered a white Christmas, and it's my first ever white Christmas, where it's actually been snowing the same day, so it's been pretty fun and memorable. I'm never gonna forget this day. We got to go on the Zodiac cruise and take family photos. And now we're on this island right here, and it's snow white all around. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Everything's great so far. The food, especially the desserts, are amazing. But yeah, everything, the landscape, it's beautiful. And we're going on a Zodiac cruise later, which should be super fun. Watch this.
We're now on the west side of the Antarctic Peninsula, and we are in a sheltered cove landing at Danko Island. So there's no wind, it's nice and calm, it's beautiful. Lots of snow and ice around, big icebergs. And we stomped out a trail on the island to see the colonies of Gentoo penguins.
This morning we're at Danko Island, where we have everything at our disposal. We have an incredible penguin colony full of Gentoo penguins, the third largest penguin here in Antarctica. We've got this incredible landscape. The penguins are moving in and out of the colonies. There's wonderful fresh snow everywhere, making for gorgeous pictures. We've got amazing icebergs even. So everything that Antarctica has to offer us in terms of photographs is right here.
Everything is what I've been shooting. You can't turn a direction without seeing something absolutely amazing. Massive vistas with just epic scale to the fine detail in the feathers of the penguins, and there's everything in between. It's just indescribable. The beauty, the light, the detail, and the scale are just amazing. I can't think of a better way to spend a morning anywhere ever.
This is wonderful place, magnificent. I think it's beyond the word can describe. Take the opportunity, come here and see with your own eyes instead of just pictures. This is a wonderful place, love it. Memory for life.
So I woke up and I opened my window and I was honestly gobsmacked. Like, this looks like a background on a computer screen, and I've been really struggling to kind of like soak it in. It seems so fake. Like, we're looking at penguins walk by on this incredible landscape, and it's honestly unreal and breathtaking, and I don't think I could ever find the words to accurately capture it. So it's been amazing. Just hanging out, you know, the site, maybe catching a little tan. It's just, yeah, taking it all in the best we can. It's amazing.
Yeah, so here we have another beautiful Antarctic morning, ice everywhere, a little bit of snow coming down, and fortunately very, very calm conditions. So it's nice to have glassy water for a change. We're here in Paradise Bay, and right beside us is Brown Station, Almirante Brown Station, another Argentine station that's currently unmanned, but it has a Gentoo colony. And one of the coolest things we've seen this morning is a leucistic Gentoo penguin. A leucistic penguin is a penguin that has lost or did not get the ability to generate the dark pigments. Leucism is a common feature in many different species of organisms. We see it in giant petrels, we also see it in fur seals and several other species. It's not albino, it's a loss of the pigment formation, and we believe it's a recessive gene that a few animals have. For me, this is particularly cool because it's the first one I've seen in over 20 trips coming to Antarctica. Yeah, so the leucistic penguin, the leucistic Gentoo, is just like any other Gentoo. It calls the same, it behaves the same, it speaks the same language, and we saw this leucistic penguin mingling with the other penguins as if it was the same color as them. So this morning we cruised by this fabulous glacier in Scunthorpe Cove, and we've also seen shag colonies, we've seen fantastic cliffs, as well as the Gentoo colony.
Trip we've been seeing a lot of icebergs, so it's been a lot of white, but just today seeing all the contrasting colors, especially the dark browns against the white, it's really majestic. It makes you seem very small compared to everything else.
But this morning, entering to Handvoort Bay on our way to this destination, the bay was fully packed with glacier ice, and we could not find a way to go through with our Zodiacs. So we had to find a plan B to improvise something, and we headed back at the entrance of Handvoort Bay, where there is a little cape, and on this cape there is a very small rookery of Gentoo penguins, and we have just a few square feet to have the opportunity to step on the seventh continent while we offer Zodiac cruise to the rest of our guests. So welcome to the seventh continent. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a spectacular voyage down to the White Continent, and we hope that you will travel with us again very soon.